All right, hello everyone. Thank you for checking out our presentation. My name is Péter Jeszenszky, and our title is Towards a Regionally Representative and Socio-Demographically Diverse Resource of Swiss German. My co-authors, Carina Steiner and Adrian Leemann, and me are working at the University of Bern for the project SDATS, which stands for Swiss German Dialects Across Time and Space. While Burcu Demiray works at the Research Priority Program Dynamics of Healthy Aging at the University of Zurich. To explain what we mean by the title and what is our motivation, Swiss German is an under-resourced variety of German in terms of the systematic corpora when it comes to less central varieties, as opposed to dialect corpus. For example, the corpus presented in the previous talk, and for example, the Archimov corpus. It is an important element in our resource that our corpus should be balanced and representative. If we look at this population map, we can see that there are bigger towns, and usually there is more data available for these variations. To be regionally more representative, we would want to represent all these regions based on their diverse dialects. Besides, we also want to represent socio-demographically diverse groups. We aim for a gender and age balanced corpus from people of different backgrounds, for example, regarding education. Basically, this video is to expose our project towards the NLP field, a shout out for us that we exist, and we are happy if NLP experts think that our data is interesting. We would be also open for collaboration, for example. Why would it be good to have such resources? It can be helpful with text-to-text tasks, such as machine translation, for standard German translated to many local dialects, with phonetic approximation, morphosyntactic changes, and lexical correspondence would be possible. Besides, it could be used as a transcription aid for speech-to-text tasks. For example, if I want to transcribe sentences that I heard in a noisy recording, but not all words are clearly hearable. If I know where the person comes from, it would be possible to estimate how he or she pronounces L or something based on what we know from this corpus. Besides incorporating local standards by social demographic profile could also be applied. And similarly, it could help text-to-speech tasks as well. Yeah, exactly. So our project, the SDATS, Swiss German Dialects Across Time and Space, is a 5-year project with its main goal being the investigation of language variation and change. We will record the voice of 1,000 respondents in our 125 survey sites scattered here across the area of German-speaking Switzerland, with 8 people from each survey site. We elicit more than 300 dialectal expressions, 200 of which have already been researched, and 100 of them being innovations. With each participant, we also record more than 300 items of metadata as well, which is also not very common in dialect surveys, like classical dialect surveys, I mean. But whom do we record? So we have 8 participants at each survey site that are social demographically diverse. We have 4 females, 4 males, 4 in younger cohorts between 20 and 35 years, 4 in older cohorts between 65 and 80. Besides, we also strive to have 4 people with and 4 without a tertiary education, so like a diploma. Although usually dialects surveys try to find the most conservative dialects, we try to elicit the average but still local dialectal variety. For this, we allow that the participants commute, spending 2 hours a day traveling, but we require that they grew up at the survey site with at least one of their parents also growing up in the area as well. We were planning to conduct impersonal interviews that are structured with a computer and high quality microphones with performing different tasks. But after 50 people recorded, we got the COVID-19 virus. So we had to cancel the upcoming interviews, and we switched to an application, an app-based, remotely supervised interview where we supervise the people online and they use their smartphones. We get such results. I'm sorry. So just let me play some samples that we have from our 50-person.
Das war eine kurze Nacht. Wegen dieser kurzen Nacht bin ich jetzt müde.
This was someone from Zurich.
Ich bringe, du bringst, bringt, wir bringen, dir bringet, sie bringen.
She was from Aargau. This is a person from Bern.
Arbeitszeiten in der Schweiz. Die Arbeitszeiten in der Schweiz sind normalerweise ein bisschen länger als in Deutschland. Streiken von Gewerkschaften, wie man sie in Deutschland kennt, gibt es in der Schweiz nicht.
And this is someone from Wallis.
Arbeitszeiten in der Schweiz. Die Arbeitszeiten in der Schweiz sind normalerweise ein bisschen länger als in Deutschland.
All right. We get a lot of metadata from our participants as well, including biometric data like age, weight, and height, educational and professional background, musicality, and the languages they speak. We also elicit their affective attitudes about dialect usage. We derive the big 5 personality traits and also ask for political stance, because politically conservative people might also well be conservative about their dialect usage as well. Besides, we also ask where they lived, where they worked, and where do their most important contacts come from, because they possibly affect the way our participants speak. And the other part of sounds stem from the so-called ear recordings, which are part of the Dynamics of Healthy Aging project. This project researches psychological, medical, and life quality questions within healthy older individuals. And in a longer research, they have recorded many people with an unobtrusive device, which they wore for 2 weeks. Every 30 minutes, 30-second sample was recorded from these people at random. The participants knew that they could be recorded at any time, but they did not know when. So this data is interesting because the patterns they speak represent who they talk to the most, like the most important contacts, probably. Most speech is dialectal because in Swiss, German, or in Switzerland, most German speakers actually speak dialect. And this, what they speak is also genuine, unobtrused by interviews. And this is why it's important for us, because we want to check if the interview participants are genuinely using their dialect within our interview settings. So if we do the SDATS interviews with the ear participants, it will be easier to validate the genuinity of the dialect usage. We can also test whether they accommodate to the interview, the test, during the test, the interviewer, and we can also compare the spontaneous speech versus the interview situation, by that testing the interlocutor effect. However, the ear data might be probably less useful for automatic transcription because of the sound quality. So let me play some samples. It's not so easy to find the play button. Sometimes it's also full of echo. So that's about it. What we plan to achieve in the coming years is that we will collect 950 more interviews. We clean the acoustic data that we record for linguistic analysis, and also the code for lexical, morphological, and syntactic variation. we are planning to transcribe the phonetic phenomenon as much as possible, with automated methods. And we hope to be able to use forced alignment, such as using the program CRAT, while another program, WebMouse, has, for example, forced aligners implemented for Bern, Basel, Graubünden, St. Gallen, and Zurich variations. We also believe, however, that our data could help with the circular task of transcription within NLP, for example, by pre-training forced aligners on sets of phonemes used by certain local speakers. To summarize our aims, we will have Swiss-German dialect speech data upcoming next year. Hopefully it will be interesting for the NLP community because of its regional variation and the biometric and metadata. These characteristics are connected to all our speakers. And we would be open for collaboration on the transcription and analysis on the acoustic data. Usage in NLP tasks, and we would also be happy to hear your feedback about what you just saw. So in the name of the SDATS team, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope you have some questions for me. Thanks a lot.